Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing okay on this rainy day. Hopefully by the time this comes out, maybe the weather has cleared up, because at this rate we're going to be living underwater soon. I'm just out walking the dogs. You can see Loki there. I'm very briefly going to introduce this vlog. We are going to run through a bit of an analysis of my most recent cross-country round with Maggie, which was at Lincoln Horse Trials, and her first ever 90 run, which was, goodness me, back in 2019 when she was a 5-year-old. So how long ago is that? Probably just under 4 years ago, because it was into the nicer months rather than the rainy months that we've got going on right now. And I thought we could compare them and see where we've improved and where we've still got to improve. So perfect weather to snug down inside and grab a cup of tea and watch the vlog. Okay guys, let me transport you back to Keyso 1 2019. We are looking at baby Maggie, and she's a wiggly one. Look at her wiggling her way down. So this was when I realized standing starts were not the thing for Maggie, and she was not sure whether this whole course was going to eat her. So you can see I did quite a decent job of just getting her from A to B, and then I was able to sit a little bit quieter as we went afterwards, bless her. And you can see her little face really switched on and looking, but she's very spooky. But we're getting a bit more of a straight line into each fence, and managing to focus on the job a little bit better. Previous to this, I think she'd done a BE80 and a couple of, a load of schooling and whatnot. She was still very honest at all the fences, but it was a case of trying to keep that forward momentum and willingness to go forwards. And as you can see, we come around the corners and we sort of wheelie round them rather than being in balance. And she can't really cope with doing much more than a canter. So again, we've got to wheelie round another turn. Oh, spooky, but carries on and jumps, bless her. And it's interesting for me watching this. Like, you see how hard I'm having to work, and I'd say I look a lot less strong in my position these days. And again, we're coming to this, and she just has a little bit of a look, but jumps. And I felt like, I was working really hard to give her the opportunity to jump. Lots of stuff on the left turn. Thank goodness she was able to turn left quite well at this stage. Now, she hated ditches, but we just did a little trot and a pop. And as you can see, she popped through there quite well. I think I was growling a little bit, saying, get on. But she was really good. I remember being quite worried about that ditch, especially as it had a slope down into it. And then she's got a little bit of mojo and got a bit of a gallop on, and you're starting to see a bit of what's to come. So a slightly downhill jump, but as you can see, Maggie's got quite a bouncy canter, so I just kept my leg on, kept the motivation going, and she was able to stay fairly in balance downhill. Something else Maggie hated? Water. So we had 2 fences in. I remember being really worried about these because I knew it would be hard, and she tries to stop, but she has no choice. I just kept my leg on, kept the contact for her to ride into. We managed to walk into the water, which is fine, that's allowed. And then basically it's a case of crack on, because we've got to get out of the water and up the steps. But she was straight as a die, right from a youngster, over skinnies. We taught her about flags, and she's always known that she should go in between them. And then here I was just trying to make sure that she got a lovely good last jump, which she did. So we've then spent a number of years nursing her around courses like this, like the wiggly worm, and making sure she has a nice time, telling her that she's a good girl and she's clever. She's also been out with the bloodhounds to make her a bit braver and learn to jump and gallop. And she's stuck at 90 for a long time, before stepping up to 100. And now I bring you to a couple of weeks ago, and look at the difference. This is 8-year-old Maggie. She will turn 9 this year. But look how she comes out the start box. We no longer do standing starts because it doesn't suit us, so I trot her through. And now I'm able to sit quiet and just crack on. So I'm so pleased we've been able to get this video. Unfortunately, they had an issue with some of the cameras. You can actually see where they moved the show jumping. If you watch my Lincoln vlog and they move the show jumping after me, you can see in the background all of the jump poles where they're actually moving it while we're going cross country. But back to what I was saying, they've missed out the steps, the chicanery and the water, which is typical, but hey ho. So you can just see it's so much more fluent. I'm able to sit a lot more quiet and strong in my body and let Maggie get on and do the work. And then we just gallop away after the fences. I was not in a hurry the other week. We were having a nice little round. You can see a little bit of a loss of concentration there before she actually locked on and realised she was jumping this fence. And then she just pops over it, completely and utterly relaxed. But the thing that I noticed that was similar throughout both of these is her ears do not move. Look at her come through these offset hedges, straight away, turns, makes that look easy. And that was causing a lot of problems that in the water. And the let-up fences, I'm not having to flap my arms and flap my legs and kick loads. It's just a case of sit quiet, make sure she's got a contact, and then pop over the next fence. This one's funny. Watch out for the loose horse running the other way. So I was a little bit distracted on my way. There's people walking in my way. There's horses everywhere. Maggie's just there like, it's all right, Mum, I got it. And do you see the loose horse? So we've gone up the steps through the water and then we come to this combi. I was really pleased with that. You know, if you look back to 5-year-old Maggie, she would not have coped with a quick, tight turn like that. She'd have wheelied around the turn, not made it, let alone managed to dump 2 fences. And then we come to this fence, which she just jumps smoothly. And it's a bit like when you think back to when she was green, all of these would have been an effort, whereas now they're just let up fences that she can canter and jump and have a nice day. So then we've got a little oxer on the way home, and we've then got to turn to the shotgun cartridge. Lovely shot in, looking where we're going, close the door with my left leg, and then carry on to the next. And this was when I was starting to put the foot down a little bit. So I was like, no, let's make the time. Big jump over the hedge, which I'd angled a little bit to mean that we didn't have to turn very much. This was my only iffy jump of the round, I would say. I think she spotted the ditch last minute and just twisted a little bit, but that's okay. So there's a ditch in front of this fence and pop, a little bit of a twist, but that's all right. I just slipped my reins to let her have her head and neck. And then, as always, making sure that she gets a good last jump and then has a nice time over the finish line. And as you can see, big girl pats, what a clever girl. And I think I was getting a little emotional about this at this stage, if you remember my vlog. So then I just make sure that she has a nice trot off, and then I hop off and loosen a girth and a noseband as soon as we're done. And that's that. Let's go and have a little bit of a head-to-head comparison. I've tried to put some of the comparable parts of the courses together for you guys to have a look, and you can just see, like, already here it's so much simpler, so much less effort or stress for Maggie. She can just canter and she knows what her job is. And for me, it's much easier coming to the second fence. Smart jump, but you can just see she's so much straighter and wasting so much less time as she comes and pops through these combinations. You can also see the course comparisons where there's more space for the 90 than the meter. Here I've actually slow-mode the 100 because she gets through it so much quicker than she gets through a 90 3-parter there. And you can see how much quicker she is able just to assess each element of the combination and go, yep, I've got it, I know where I'm going, rather than at 90 level she was kind of going, oh my goodness, give me some time. I need some time to think, please. But if you are sat on your horse chipping away with them being spooky and needing time to assess, please do just keep carrying on. Keep going at the level you're going at if that's comfortable until they start getting a bit braver and a bit quicker to react, because it will come. It just takes time and mileage and going out and doing it. And as they build their confidence, it all gets so much better. So, you know, one of the really important things to me, and it has been always long term, get a good last jump. That is your last reminder of what the course was like for both you and your horse, and make sure they've had a nice time. You can see how much more muscled Maggie is, how much stronger she is. But for my riding at the end of the course, it is big girl pats, good shot in the last fence, don't flop over it, and well done, thank you very much for jumping round. That is really important for building your horse's confidence up. Okay then guys, I hope you've enjoyed that and found it fairly interesting. I know I found it pretty eye-opening watching how different Maggie's gone from being so wiggly to then cracking on, and how straight she is, and you can see her looking for the fences, and that's just come with her experience and her mileage really. Technically this is 4 years difference because it's 2019 to 2023, give or take a few months. But actually, realistically, we are looking at 3 event seasons, because we've got to bear in mind she lost last season. She completed 1 event before she went down. So I don't really think we're looking at a massive space in time for that. But I also think that it's very, very easy to be going, or next goal is here, I've got to keep working to that next goal, and not realising that you started right over here, and the fact that you're here now is really quite cool and that you've done really well. So it's quite important for me to always look back and reassess and reevaluate how well we've done and how far we've come. And it's something I like to do with a lot of my clients when we're training as well, and say, look, 6 months ago that would have been such a big challenge, and yet now you're doing it easily, and now we'll push forward to do the next thing, rather than getting bogged down and just wanting the next big thing. Actually appreciating where you're at is really, really important. So I found that so useful and so interesting to do. I think I'll probably have a look at maybe doing it with Donut soon, because I think I've got a couple of his rounds. I've vlogged a lot more, so there's a lot more cross-country round to analyse anyway. And for me, a massive thing, we attempted Lincoln last year, I fell off at the water. This year, the exact same fence was in the same place, and I looked at it and was like, ugh, oh my goodness, are we going to manage it? Yes, we did. Even though it's not on the video, which is a real shame, because otherwise you would have been able to see the vast improvement of her going through water as well, because obviously in the 90s she started walking into water. Lincoln, she cantered through and jumped the skinnies, etc. But you'll get to see more of that in future. But like I say, it's a useful exercise to do if you're producing your horses on through. Make sure you go and look back at where you started to where you are now, and I hope it gives you a little bit of a boost to your day. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you would like to see more of this sort of stuff, make sure that you let me know whether it's useful or not. And if you would like to see more of the vlogs and more of the horses, make sure that you press that subscribe button, please. It really helps me out. I really enjoy doing it, and we're building up such a lovely community now. So thank you so much for that support, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye guys.